this is me, Craig Ferguson. I'm inviting you to come and see my brand new comedy hour. Well, it's about an hour and a half, and I don't have an opener because these guys cost money. But what I'm saying is I'll be on stage for a while. Anyway, come and see me live on the Pants on Fire tour in your region. Tickets are on sale now, and we'll be adding more as the tour continues throughout 2025 and beyond. For a full list of dates, go to thecraigfergusonshow.com. See you on the road, my dears. My name is Craig Ferguson. The name of this podcast is Joy. I talk to interesting people about what brings them happiness. Here's Diedrich Bader, a great actor who's been in everything you've ever liked. I'm not kidding. Listen to this. Enjoy. When I was...
I knew it!
Yeah, it's not about me. It's about you. It's about you. And I'm just...
Yeah, we'll see.
No, it is. Because I want to start with this.
Okay.
Because when we were working together on the Drew Carey Show, and you were playing Oswald Lee Harvey, which is still maybe the best name for a character in a sitcom. I think it's great.
We gotta laugh every time.
Well, because it's funny.
Yeah.
It's stupid and funny. And stupid and funny gets funnier the longer you say it.
Yeah, that's so true.
But Oswald Lee Harvey, which is on a par with Count Alucard as a stupid name. When you were playing that fairly early on in the run. No, I'm going to say, because you were the only person I'd heard of when I started that show. Because you had done the Beverly Hillbillies.
That's
you
right.
played Jethro in the Beverly Hillbillies. And you were really good at it.
Well, thank you.
And that was a hit movie, wasn't it?
No, that was a bomb. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been on the Drew Carey Show. I'd be a major movie star. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you can be a movie star and being a bomb. You are a movie star. You're in everything.
No, it didn't make enough money to be attractive to hire me. Success breeds success.
Oh, okay.
And people only want to be associated with success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That may explain my life a little bit. My friends. So people I see, that's why I have no friends. But you were the only one I'd heard of. And I remember, do you remember when we did the full Monty episode of the Drew Carey Show?
Yes, of course.
And we all got naked.
Yes.
And then we went to Las Vegas on Tim Allen's plane.
Yes.
And everyone got trashed.
I got incredibly trashed.
You were the drunkest. Remember I'm saying this and I'm Scottish.
Yeah.
You're one of the drunkest people I've ever seen.
The fact that I could stand was...
I was amazed at how drunk you were.
Yeah.
But you were like walking around being loud with very starey eyes.
Yeah.
You were very starey, dancing.
Yeah.
And then you threw a plastic bottle.
I was remembering that this morning.
Yeah, you threw a bottle off the top floor of a hotel and it landed on the swimming pool.
30 stories up.
Oh, it was enormous. I was like, if that... And I remember saying to Kathy, who was the only other person not
Sober,
drinking.
yeah.
I was like, that could have killed someone, Kathy. She said, I know. And then we agreed we were the lamest people in Las Vegas. That was so fucking dumb.
What? You totally took care of me, by the way. There's no way I would have made it into a hotel room.
I was scared.
We slept together.
We didn't. Well,
there wasn't a lot of sleep in. Is that where you're going?
Nobody slept that night. I think I slept a little bit.
Yeah, you slept a couple hours.
Yeah, but I mean, how did you guys do that, given the fact no one was on cocaine as far as I knew? Or were you guys on cocaine?
Oh, no.
No, so
Drew wasn't into drugs. Just booze.
No, he was just a boozer, and not also, much of a boozer, really.
No, he was kind of a lightweight, but Ryan Stiles is the Keith Richards of the...
Unbelievable.
He has a hollow leg.
Yeah, he can stand and drink.
Oh, yeah. My problem was that time, and every time you did see me drunk was when I tried to keep up with Ryan. I'm not blaming... I take responsibility for how much I drank, totally. But...
I remember you being drunk that much. Couple of times.
No, but every time you
were drunk, it was Ryan's
because
fault, is what you're saying.
No. Is that I was trying to keep up with him.
Yeah.
Just as a kind of a guy thing. And once you get into it, then you're like, and then he's just pouring, and he's fun. As you know, he's really
very,
fun.
very fun.
Yeah.
But here's his trick when he gets drunk. And even when he's not drunk, he doesn't move that much. Have you noticed? He just kind of stands there.
That's totally his trick.
You're right. His trick is he doesn't try and move his legs, arms, or even face.
Yeah.
He just says funny things.
He just
raises his eyebrows a little bit.
And it's hilarious.
Yeah, and it
gets funnier.
And he's very improv-y.
Yeah, he's very good at that.
Yeah, he's very good. Did you do that improv? Whose line is it anyway?
I never did, but I will say,
Yeah.
the funniest comedic improvisation that I have ever seen, and I've seen a lot,
Right.
was when we had the final Drew Carey Show dinner, and you were invited. We had it on La Cienega at some fancy restaurant.
Oh,
they
yeah.
got like a private
It was a private room. Yeah.
and it was at the end of the 9th season, which you were not on.
I wasn't on that. I was
And
making Saving Grace, I think. or
You
something.
were amazing that you showed up.
Yeah.
But at that point, the cast had gotten so fractious. Only Ryan and I were speaking to each other.
I think Kathy and I were still
Yeah,
speaking.
no. But I mean, as far as on everybody that was there,
Right.
Like, we were still talking to Kathy, but there was a lot of acrimony.
It was tense.
And,
it was like family at that point.
It was like family. That's
Yeah.
my point. And Craig, you were so funny. There was something about the awkwardness of the situation. You literally were the funniest person. Dulcie speaks about this. My wife speaks about this all the time.
Really?
As being the funniest comedy set anyone has ever done, because there was something about the awkwardness of it
Yeah.
that sparked you, and everything we said that was passive aggressive to each other, you picked up on and made a joke out of, and it was hilarious. It was like you were trying to make things better.
That's exactly like my family life when I was a kid.
You were just trying to make things better.
I was just trying to make things better.
Yeah.
I swear to God,
Through
passive
comedy.
aggression is the Scottish thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, and the interesting thing is, I also don't remember my childhood. And I was sober.
Yeah, right.
That's
most of your childhood.
Well, not all of it, but a fair amount of it.
Yeah.
Mine was my childhood. Your childhood is very different, though. You're like, you're DC, right? You're like government, family. And was your father a spy or something?
Yeah, I guess I can say that now. Yeah, he was in the CIA. And
he was in the CIA, right?
He was, yeah. And he was chief of staff of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. He ended up being assistant secretary of state during the Clinton administration.
So was he like, did he do black ops and stuff like that? Was he, away from home?
He did go away from home. All of the stuff that he did in the field was before I was born.
Right.
But then he always kept a hand in, and he, oddly enough, he was on the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, better known as the Church Committee,
right?
And really went after the CIA. And because he was in the CIA at one point,
right,
he was able to use his contacts for those that were within the CIA who were upset with the way the agency was going.
So the implication being that there is some corruption in the intelligence community? Because I frankly find that hard to believe. That anywhere that humans have power, that there would be any kind of form of corruption is unbelievable to me.
And I think his greatest claim to fame, the thing that was brought up in his obituary, was that he was the person that supplied Senator Fulbright, the senator from Arkansas, with the information about the Gulf of Tonkin, which made Robert McNamara retire, that it was a lie.
Wow.
That was in his obituary.
So that's a very impressive resume and a very kind of specific world.
Yes.
And I was always kind of intrigued as why you weren't drawn into that. It feels like the gravitational pull of that kind of thing would be very strong. Were you tempted at that point?
No, I was never tempted. I think because I saw how the sausage was made.
Right.
The thing that it did prepare me for in Hollywood was something that you had alluded to earlier in this podcast, which is the cyclical nature of a career.
Right.
The shifting sands. My dad liked to call it the magic hat. So if you have the magic hat on, everybody loves you. Yeah. But it's not you, it's the hat.
Yeah. And that's very Hollywood.
That's Hollywood.
It really is as well. But I mean, your career you have had a stellar career.
Thank you.
I was quite jealous as I watched you.
How was that even possible? You have an amazing
you were on
career.
Great shows. You're on Veep, which is an amazing show.
Veep
You're on
Bojack,
which is like seminal.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like rewriting the whole
that's a truly great show.
game.
Yeah.
Is it something?
And I would say Better Things was also, I don't know if you saw it, but Better Things is also a good show.
I did not see Better Things, actually.
Better Things is a very solid, beautiful show.
So the kind of thing that there's always been a great depth to your work, which I don't think you were used, and I feel this a couple of actors actually. I didn't see that you getting used that way in the Drew Carey Show when you were playing Oswald Lee Harvey. It was it was a fun show, but it was kind of two-dimensional in many ways, wasn't it?
No, it was entirely two-dimensional. Yeah, we were like hothouse flowers. We weren't real people. We were just vehicles for jokes. That said, I totally enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. Well, not totally, but a lot of it.
I think I enjoyed it more than you did.
I think you probably did. I think that it's funny. I remember,
and I don't think it was because of the size of the part. You had a good part, and you were a rock solid performer. Like you came out there and fucking kicked ass. I don't know what I can say.
Yeah, you can say anything you fucking like, man.
That was funny. You fucking kicked ass every week, and it like rock star every week. So I don't think it was the size of the part. I think it's because you were more ambitious than me.
Definitely. I was. I don't think I still suffer from that, but I did have
I
that
think at
then.
the time.
Yeah,
that's all I'm
definitely.
saying.
Definitely.
And from my perspective, I'm not
I think you're right. I think that I was looking at you guys and I felt like you were all doing better than me, which is what ambitious people always think.
Yeah.
It's like everybody's doing better than me.
Yeah.
And
that's so true.
It is. It's like, this is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And then what I also, years, like after I had gotten maybe, I don't know, I was about 18 months into doing the late night show, and I ran into, I think it was Jerry, the director, Jerry, that was used to do the show. And he said, wow, yeah, if ever a guy, it was him and Drew. Yeah. Said, if ever a guy needed a show with his name on it, it's you, Craig. And I went, really? So I'm standing next to Drew Carey from the fucking Drew Carey Show for 9 years. He's like, yeah, it's different. I went, no, I don't think it's any different at all.
No, it's not.
I was, though. You didn't suffer from that ambition? Did you not feel that? Like, I mean, you were coming off like the Beverly Hillbillies, big giant movie. Did you not feel, was your ambition not burning hot at that point?
Well, I was disappointed by the reaction of the Beverly Hillbillies. I thought I was going to be a movie star for a brief time. And then I dipped back into television, frankly, because I ran out of money. And then I only did the Drew Carey Show because I was trying to drive. I never told you this story.
No,
before.
I don't know this story.
So the Drew Carey Show was my second pilot of the season. I was on the revamping of Margaret Cho's show. But then I didn't believe in the show. About halfway through the show, my agent came and said, I have to go. And I was
the Drew Carey Show or the Margaret
Cho show? And I said, how do I get off this show? And he goes, you're halfway through the pilot. And I was like, yeah, this is really a mistake. Everybody knows it. And he goes, okay, well, so, we're going to second position with something. So I was like, okay, great. And I tested for a pilot called Partners. Tate Donovan did it, and John Cryer got my part.
Okay.
But anyway, they lowballed me over at Sony, who I'm working for right now, actually on Lucky Hank.
You know what?
Totally lowballed
I'm
me.
working for them too.
Sony's great.
Yeah,
I love them. They're my favorite people. Yeah,
I love them.
But they totally lowballed me. And so I called my agent and I was like, our quotas are, they just have the quote and they're not coming back. And he goes, well, you gotta get something else and we'll just fight him off.
Use it as a bargaining chip?
Yeah. So he goes, there's this show, a stand-up. Have you heard of Drew Carey? And I was like, no. And he goes, well, he did well on this other stand-up show. And I said, I don't watch that stand-up show.
Yeah.
And I was such a TV snob. If you remember, I'm much better now that I have kids, and it's like
you are one of the people that I would say grew the fuck up since I met them. I mean, you honestly, you were always a very nice man.
Oh, thank you.
But no, you were, but you grew up. It's patently obvious. Like when you had your kids, you're like, oh no, wait a minute, it's a whole fucking reset fucking button going on.
But anyway, so I went on the Drew Carey Show pilot, and they wanted to test me, so we put them against one another. And Sony did come up to my quote, and so did the Drew Carey Show. And I just showed up for the test. And I did it like blah, 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 because my test for the Sony thing was the same day. So I just was like, okay, yeah, this is the morning thing. And then I'm going to go, like some people would have a cup of coffee and a shit. And I was like, I'm going to test for a show.
Well, the Drew Carey Show was kind of like a cup of coffee and a shit was the whole idea of the show.
Process,
the circle of life.
So, and then I went off to the Sony thing, and then I didn't get the Sony thing, and I got the Drew Carey Show. And my agent called me to tell me I got the Drew Carey Show, and I yelled at him. I was like, "What have you done?"
Jesus. That's great. And then the show was a hit.
Yeah, 9 years. It's
9
crazy.
fucking years. I didn't do the last year. I didn't do the first year either.
You didn't do the first year.
Yeah, I joined after that. I was only meant to be in for like 3 episodes or something.
The first year wasn't good. And I hope I'm not crushing fans of the show, but I really didn't like the show. I actually tried to get off the show.
Right.
In my defense, I had done 7 pilots before the Drew Carey Show. So I thought, I'll just get another show.
Right.
And I'll be fine. Looking back, oh my God, thank God they didn't let me out of that.
It's the magic hat. It's the magic hat.
So they didn't let me off. And I wasn't crazy. I loved Drew and I loved Ryan, and Kathy was great.
Right.
But I didn't love the scripts. I didn't love my part. And I thought, this is to speak to what you were saying about the ambition.
Right.
I thought, like, I'm a second banana on a show. I should be the first banana.
Yeah.
And I should get off the show. Bruce didn't let me off the show, and I'm very grateful for that because
Bruce Helford, who was the showrunner, yeah.
The second year of the show
yeah.
was so much better. And I was trapped.
And I had arrived, and then everything
and you had
was
arrived.
great. Yeah.
And I'm not joking about that. It actually made the show happen because you were a great antagonist to him. It made his work sheer fucking hell.
You're right. There was more sticks to throw at the protagonist.
The voiceover thing, it's nothing against Kevin Pollak. He's fantastic.
He's a great actor,
Yeah,
Kevin
he's
Pollak.
great. So, but he was a voice.
Yeah.
And we saw him at the end of the first year. It was a dumb gimmick.
Well, he was, if anyone doesn't know, he was Drew's voice. He was Drew's boss in the first year of the show. But you never really saw him. It was just on a kind of like speakerphone.
That's right.
And then he turned up for the last episode. But at that time, and Kevin said this to me himself, excuse me, he said I was too expensive at the time. They couldn't afford me. So I was doing a lot of movies.
Yeah. He was a legit movie star at the time.
Yeah. I think they offered Mr. Wick to Hugh Laurie as well.
No kidding.
Yeah, I believe so. And I think Hugh said, no, I'm better than that.
That would have been a mistake.
I don't know. I think he'd have been pretty good.
Don't get me wrong; he's amazing.
Yeah, but
I think that wouldn't have worked. I think that you were.
I think personality-wise, I think what happened. For me, the Drew Carey Show was at its best in that second, third, fourth. Those were the good years.
Yep.
Yeah, when we were like doing the live episodes and doing the like big musical numbers and all that.
And also the episode that you were talking about, the Full Monty episode, that's an excellent episode.
It's a great episode, yeah.
In that scene when we're all on the couch and you come in and you talk about your addiction to the ponies and Oswald thinks that you sleep with ponies.
It's pretty good.
It's so dumb.
Remember John Carroll Lynch and Drew dancing to the harp music to Windy as well. It's like, but you look at John Carroll Lynch as well, that guy who's gone on to like direct these like serious movies and he's like big. And you've done that too. You carved a legitimate career after the show. I think.
Thank you for saying
that. Well, it's true. I mean, but none of us were part of that kind of Whose Line improv world. I mean, Ryan did it. It was kind of Ryan and Drew, really, were Whose Line.
Really, Ryan. Yeah. Let's face it.
Well,
Drew was funny because he laughed. And
Drew was funny because he laughed and he liked being around everybody doing it.
And he's a genuinely fun guy. So
he's a nice guy.
But
Ryan's the improv genius.
Oh my God, he's a genius.
Yeah.
He's truly incredible. No, they asked me to do the show a number of times. I'm sure they asked you as well.
No, I don't think they ever did ask me to do it. Or maybe they asked me to do it once. I'm not sure. Because I'm Scottish, I like to go, they never asked me and they lived to regret it. But I don't think they did live to regret it. And they probably...
Sit in the dark. Oh, I'm fine in the dark.
I'm fine here, sitting in the dark, They never asked me. But I think they probably did ask me.
Yeah, probably. I'd be shocked if they didn't.
Well, I don't know. I was never that comfortable in weirdly enough, for what I did later on, I was very uncomfortable with improv. Very uncomfortable with that group improv. I always felt I can't really do this.
It is a different beast.
It is.
Yeah.
Did you like the experience of doing it?
One of my favorite parts about acting is knowing what I'm going to say.
Yeah, isn't that great?
I love it.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to say right now.
Yeah. And so it's a little unnerving, but if you get to practice what you're going to say, do it in a high voice, do it in a low voice. This is my preparation for
saying. Seeing what you're actually saying, as opposed to what you're saying. And all of that, all text analysis, all that kind of stuff you can really dive into. That doesn't happen in life.
Yeah,
in life, we just blurt it out.
I think I just realized why you've done so well as an actor, because you say words like text analysis and stuff like that. I'm like, oh God, he's a fucking real actor. I forgot he's a proper actor that does things.
I've trained.
You had? Did you train?
Yes.
Where did you go?
Train. I went to North Carolina School of the Arts.
That's
in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
That's pretty fancy, isn't it?
It's fancy dancy, yeah. It's fancy dancy.
Is that so? Did you come to Hollywood straight after that, or did you go into theater?
I was going to go into theater, and then I got a pilot in between my sophomore and junior year. A Western. We were on vacation in Santa Fe. Met a casting director at a dinner party. Short story. Long story short, I got cast in this pilot, and then
in a Western.
That's
my fucking dream.
It was really fun.
Western.
Honest to God, I was going to be a stage actor before that time.
Yeah,
but it was so much fun to dress up like a cowboy.
Yeah,
and I was SAG, and a lot of my friends that had graduated, who I thought were much more talented than myself, that were in New York and trying to be stage actors, are having a very hard time. And
it's very difficult, the stage world. I think
so.
It's even more cliquey than Hollywood.
It is.
I think. Yeah.
My father's idea was that I move out here because I'm already SAG, go like Stalin, do a 5-year plan, and then move to New York if it doesn't work out. And I thought that was a pretty good idea, so I did that.
So your dad, who's this this very interesting government figure, was cool with your going into show business?
It was his idea for me to drop out of North Carolina School of the Arts and just get started.
See, he was a kind of out the box thinker then, wasn't he?
Yeah, and I think he knew me.
Yeah,
and he knew that I was going to be on. I mean, his thing when he brought up the idea, he said, you got a job at a dinner party. I think you'll be okay.
That's great.
And then he paid my rent for the first 2 years, which really, really helped.
That does help.
So, because I didn't need to get a straight job. I worked enough where I could feed myself. This is after the first 3 or 4 months when I tried to make it completely on my own. And I had trouble at the beginning. I got a job in 2 weeks, my second pilot. But I went through the money really, really fast because I thought I was made. I thought I paid my dues. It'd been 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's a common thing though. They used to say like the best time to buy a house in LA is just after the TV season starts and shows start getting cancelled.
Yeah.
And the actors who thought that they were going to be on.
Yeah, no, I just burned through it. I bought every type of thing that you could put into your body. As you know, like you run out of money really quick.
Yeah, but you were never like a druggie or anything like that.
Just weed and a lot of booze.
Yeah, I never even saw you with much in the way of weed. Not like the way weed is now. Like the entire America smells like
all the time. I know. Well, I just shot in Vancouver. The Vancouver is so much weed. Like I smelled cigarette smoke, and I was like, "What the hell is that?"
Yeah, it's weird. It's like it's like a flashback when you smell just tobacco.
Yeah,
I know. I mean, New York smells like weed. Most of LA smells like weed.
Yeah.
Chicago, Denver.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's just like you can get high just going there. So you get off the plane and you're like,
The reason that you didn't see it is that I quit. I had told Dulcie when we first really got together, my wife of 26 years now.
I was going to say, you guys got married when we were doing Drew Carey, right?
That's right.
And between the
second and third
season.
So she wanted me to quit, and that was basically like, if we go forward, because I smoked a lot. And she just like put her. It was basically like,
she's a very sensible person.
Yeah,
Elsie. She's very one of those. I mean, look, you're married to her. You know her better than me.
Yeah,
clearly. But she always seemed to me to be someone who had their shit together. That was kind of like an impressive.
Yeah, she
kind
really
of
did.
Organized person.
More than anyone else has helped me with my career because of just not just being encouraging, but also pushing me in a way and disciplining me.
See, I think that is very important in a career because I was much more scattershot and much more ambitious until I met Megan, who we've been together 18 years, and you knew me before that.
Yeah.
And all I could think of was that it must be success, and success is a big hit and money. It's not creative fulfillment. There's no other side to it. It's a two-dimensional thing. It's a 1 or a 0. And
I understand that though.
yeah, I think for young people, I think it's okay. I think
and also it's what Hollywood tells you.
Yeah. There was somebody I talked to, I think it was Peter Medak. Do you know the director Peter Medak?
I know his name.
Peter, he directed a lot of episodes of The Wire.
Yeah,
but he made a couple of great movies. A movie about the craze he made a movie called The Ruling Class with Peter O'Toole back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great movie, right?
Fantastic.
I think that's his first movie.
Yeah. Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. And he's
first
Hungarian.
movie
He talks like, is sort of, well, for my purposes, he talks like an old Nazi from 1950s movie. He doesn't talk like this at all, but a sort of version of this.
Okay.
He's like, well, see, as the singer's Craig, the movie Twister makes $150 million. The movie Fanny and Alexander makes, I don't know, what, $50? Therefore, the movie Twister is a better movie than Fanny and Alexander. Yes or no? Of course, the answer is no. And you get I like guys like that. I like guys like that who kind of see it. And I think that comes with age and experience and wearing the hat and not wearing the hat sometimes.
That's right. Yeah.
It's
best if
you
have a career where you have worn the hat and then you don't wear the hat and then somebody gives you the hat again.
Yeah.
And that's when you're really appreciative of the hat.
That's nice to have it back.
Yeah.
I think of it's kind of like the Sean Connery Zardoz.
Zardoz!
Yeah.
We bring it up all the time.
Yeah, but that's like Sean Connery.
Yeah.
And yet he's in a mankini at one point. He must have been thinking, what the fuck is Chap?
Yeah.
Wearing a fucking mankini.
It's a mankini.
I'm fucking Zardoz. Now, I know that some people love the movie Zardoz, but I don't think Sean loved it. We were talking about Sean Connery the other day.
We totally were.
Right, because you met him and I met him. When did you meet him?
I met him at an awards thing. He was getting a Lifetime award. This is during the right before the Hillbillies came out, and I had a publicist because it felt like I should.
Right, okay. I understand.
And so I went to a bunch of parties, and one of them was this award that he was given. And F. Maria Brown told the story about the director of Name of the Rose, who was supposedly very abusive to basically everybody in the crew and the actors, and really just awful, and would lose his shit continually. Which is really a terrible thing for a director to do.
Terrible thing for a director.
You're the one who's supposed to be in control. That's the idea. You're not allowed to do that.
You shouldn't even raise your voice.
You really shouldn't.
No.
But anyway, Connery said nothing through the entire time to this guy. He just did his job, and he talked to the actor. He was fine, but he just did his job. He didn't say anything to the director. And then the director took a big stick and was about to hit a horse that wasn't doing what he wanted the horse to do.
A horse?
Right. And Connery grabbed his wrist and pushed it down. And you could tell that the director really was like fighting. But Connery's a big fella.
Mr. Universe.
Yeah. So he's holding him down and he goes, not the horse.
Fuck. Yeah.
Line, you just.
Yeah, okay.
Just.
Right away, Mr. Connery. Yeah. I was telling you, my wife and we had only been dating a short period of time, and I had to give an award to Sean at some big Hollywood do.
Yeah, he's getting an award all the time.
Yeah, he was getting them every week. And I was giving him this award. I gave him the award, and then we get introduced afterwards, and Megan's wearing her dress, and we went over, and I said, he said, Craig, it's very nice to meet you. Yeah, thanks for the award. That was really very pleasant what you said. Thank you. And I said, thank you very much, Sean. This is my wife, Megan, and he said, very nice to meet you, Megan. And her tits blushed.
It's not even physically possible.
I didn't even know that tits could blush. Yeah. She just went, oh, and they lit up like it was fucking Halloween. I didn't even know these things could do that. She went, well, they don't do it for you, but that's Sean Connery. I was like, oh my God. See, he could make women's tits blush.
Yeah, that's quite a skill.
Yeah, he was fucking great.
Yeah,
for me, he and Billy Connolly were kind of like the Jackie Robinson thing for me. Do you know what I mean? What for you what did you watch when you were a kid and you go, I want a piece of that. I want to be able to do that.
My origin story is that we were living in Paris. My dad was a European representative. We were living in Paris. He was a European representative for the Ford Foundation. This is shortly after he brought down Robert McNamara. He was told to basically get out of town.
Right. Not only can you not have the hat, but you better get the fuck out of town for a while.
Yeah. You really lost the hat.
Yeah.
It just rolled down the street. You're not going to get that hat. He ended up being fine.
Right.
But yes, he was definitely out.
Right.
But anyway, I basically just learned English. I was little, and then there was French.
Right.
And so I was really deeply alienated by the whole thing, and kind of a troubled little kid, little loner, weird kid.
What age are you at this point?
I am about 3.5, 4.
Okay.
And my mom paid for my siblings to take me to the movies. And I very quickly figured out that was the deal, because my sister would bring all of her Stone friends, and they would, we would go see Fred Astaire movies, which I totally love. But I really loved Charlie Chaplin.
How interesting.
And there was something about the combination of the pathos, the physical comedy, and just the warmth.
Yeah.
That I really love, the sweetness. Now, a lot of people think it's too treacly. Buster Keaton is probably for the hardcore fans, and I'm a huge fan, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But for the hardcore fan, he's just comedy. It's very little sentiment. But for me, I love the sentiment. I was a little kid, and the first one I saw was The Kid. So I was like, this guy's
this is, and I could hang with this guy because he hangs out with kids in a non-creepy way.
I worked up a little Charlie Chaplin act in my room and in our apartment in Paris. And then I guess about a year later, excuse me, we went to the theater. My fake auntie Sure, took me. And this is my favorite.
Fake auntie? Who is a fake auntie?
It's my mom's
your mom's friend, that kind of thing?
I
got that, yeah.
But anyway, she took me to this one theater that I loved the most because there was a live musical accompaniment. The guy improvised music to whatever was playing, and it was my favorite because it was just like being in the theater in the original times.
This is weird because this sounds like you grew up in the 1920s in Paris. This is what, 1970s?
70, yeah.
Yeah.
70, somewhere around there. Anyway, so the film burned. Got caught and burned.
It went on fire?
Yeah. And everybody booed and the lights came back on.
Right.
And I ran in between the audience and the screen because nobody boos Charlie Chaplin. I just wasn't going to allow that to happen. And so I jumped in between and I did my little Charlie Chaplin act. The organ player played.
And you did it for the audience in the theater?
I did it for the audience.
And the French audience. That's
French audience.
And were they good? Did they love you?
I got a standing ovation.
Jesus, that is so great. Now, I think we have to make a movie of your life because that is such a
good origin
story. Don't you think?
It's crazy, right?
It's lovely.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah.
Do you actually have memory of it? I mean,
there's so many questions about recovered memory. I actually did recover this memory by watching Chaplin, the biopic with Robert Downey Jr.
Right.
There is a scene in it where his mother, who was played by Charlie Chaplin's actual daughter, Geraldine Chaplin,
right,
in the movie plays her own grandmother, who has a nervous breakdown on stage when Chaplin himself is about 3 or 4.
That's right. She was very ill. His mother,
extremely ill. And anyway, she had a nervous breakdown on stage, and everybody started to boo. And he thought, no one is going to boo my mother. So he jumped on stage and started doing a pantomime act because he had no act. It was the only thing that he can think of. And I was sitting in the theater, and I was like, oh my God.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then I remembered
That's amazing.
I remembered.
And your family remember it?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but typical of my family, I called my mom. I was crying. I called my mom and I go, I just want to check something because I had this incredibly powerful experience. It was like an epiphany for me. And I just want to double check and make sure that it actually happened and that I wasn't making it up. And she went, oh, yes, yeah. Mm. And I go, did you ever think about telling me that?
No, she was like, oh, yeah, that happened.
No, that happened, yeah. No, Auntie, sure. She took you. And I go, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's crazy.
And she goes, yes, no, that happened.
Do you know the story about Chaplin and Michael Caine? Michael Caine told me this story, which is what they were both from the area, the Elephant and Castle in London.
Oh, I didn't know.
A very poor slum area in London. And in the late 1960s or 70s, they were knocking down. It must have been in the 70s, actually. They were knocking down the Elephant and Castle, the area in London. It was called that because it was in the Middle Ages. It was called l'Enfant de Castille, but the Londoners couldn't pronounce that.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like, Elephant Castle.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And it was a
Instead of
big...
the children of the castle.
Yeah. So they were knocking down this area, and Michael, who grew up there, was walking around it, and he thought, I'll go and see it before they knock it down. So very early in the morning, one Sunday, he's walking around the Elephant Castle. It's all kind of deserted and stuff, and he comes around the corner, and fucking Charlie Chaplin is there, the old man.
Bonkers.
And he said, "Mr. Chaplin, what are you doing here?"
Oh,
yeah, I'm doing the voice.
That's a good one.
I can't do Charlie Chaplin. And Charlie Chaplin went, but and then you came up.
No, please.
But he said, "Well, I thought I'd come around and look at the old neighborhood before they knocked it down." And the two of them, there's something wonderful about that.
That's
isn't
so
there?
sweet. Two huge
Oh my
stars.
God! And from obviously very different eras.
Yeah, of course, but still. But then walking around together, sharing a childhood. That's really fascinating.
Both of these people, and this is kind of where I want to lead you a little bit, is that both of these people, for me, I never met Chaplin. I presume you didn't either. But I've met and spent time with Michael Caine, who is a fucking diamond of a human being.
I've heard.
He's just amazing.
I'm really delighted to hear that.
And what's great about him is that he's one of the few people I've met that retains the mystique. I know how films are made. I've made them. You've made them. We've been on them. I know how the sausage is made. But he keeps the glamour. And I wondered for you, is there still an area of this business? Because you've really proved yourself in this game.
Thank you.
Is there still any kind of the feeling you used to get when you would see the stars' handprints? I used to kind of get that, and I don't anymore. I'm like, yeah, it's the guy putting his hand in concrete, doesn't matter. You hear stories about people. Is there anyone who still does it for you?
That I get starstruck, or that I'm just
maybe starstruck, or
just
just retains the mystique, who kind of still has the glamour on, either personally or but I'm thinking more personally, like interacting with people.
No,
it's funny that, isn't it?
No, I mean, I have yet to see the glamour of this business. I too totally worshipped it from an outsider's perspective.
Right.
I used to go to Men's Chinese when I had a particularly intense audition.
Yeah.
Before I would go and I would stand in Jimmy Stewart's shoe prints at Men's Chinese, and just look up at the skies and show me the magic, Jim. Show me the magic.
Yeah.
Because he was my favorite.
Right.
Of the speaking actors.
Yeah, the so-called talkies, as if that'll ever catch on. Never.
But I have yet to see glamour. I mean, one moment I think was fairly glamorous. In early screenings of Miss Congeniality 2, I went to with Elsie, I should say. We went to a theater way out in like Glendale or something. I can't quite remember right now, but anyway, we went up to where the projectors were,
right?
Because that's where Sandy was, and there was Sandra Bullock in the middle of the room on her phone, looking amazing and like a movie star, waiting for the lights to go down so she could join the audience. And I think that was the one moment where I was like, "That's actually pretty cool."
Yeah, it's funny that it does go away.
Yeah, because it's just a lot of desperate people trying to work.
I just went, you know what did it to me was late night.
Oh.
Because every night
you met everybody,
giant star comes in. Not every night, but a lot of times giant stars come in, giant stars come in, giant stars come in. And the douche to mensch ratio is the same as anywhere else in the world. Yeah, it's just like, some guys douches, some guys mensches, and that's just the way it is. Yes, right. But there are people, for me, still who kind of transcend it a little bit.
Okay, who's that?
Well, Robin Williams did that for me a little bit. Even although we became friendly, there was a
still like
there's. It seemed to me he had a magic. Yeah. Maybe it's genius. Maybe that's what it is. It's not really about glamour and show business, but it's about
the next level of real talent. Yeah.
Or when you see somebody doing a thing, like every now and again, I would see that I could even do it. I could do it. And I'm not saying I could even do it with you, but I can do it with you. Like there were times when I would, like when I was watching Bojack, when you turned up in Bojack as the agent's assistant.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's fucking gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
And it was great. It was. I mean, that show for me. I'm such a fan of that show.
It's a really great show.
It's a very dark, strange ride.
Yeah.
And
I don't think there's been a darker comedy.
Honestly. I mean, who was it you were working with on that?
Bob, the creator of the show, and I did a show together called Save Me.
Right.
That was a total piece of shit.
Okay.
And he knew it at the time, and I knew it at the time, but he couldn't say anything. But I just talked about it all the time.
So he appreciated that, and couldn't wait to get you into it.
When he had his own show, then he brought me in, and he was like, "Your candor was so like refreshing that there was somebody who knew that they were on a piece of shit while they were in it." And
it was one of those shows, Bojack, I thought, that you lived in terror of your name turning up in it.
Oh yeah, right. Because he skewered everybody.
Yeah, mine did.
Oh really?
Yeah, I was watching it one day. I was like, I think it's deep into the season with Bojack's way off base, and the reporters are looking for Bojack, and they go to an AA meeting, and they say, "Have you seen any celebrities at an AA meeting?" And somebody goes, "I thought Craig Ferguson was here once," and then the reporter says, trying to be swanked by association, are you? And I was like, that was good. That was good. Not bad. Yeah, for a Bojack,
especially since you're not anonymous, you're recovering and you're pretty clear about it. Well, so he wasn't outing you.
But the AA thing is anonymous, and I can't and wouldn't speak about that.
Of course. But what I mean is that he picked the one like. Who's in recovery, who was up clear about it.
And then there was a whole bunch of people after that as well. He just ran a list of fucking douchebag fucking celebrities that have gotten sober, me included. And I kind of loved it, but as a skewering, it wasn't bad. It was great. It wasn't a skewering at all. It was okay. It's one of those things that I think, if you're an actor the way you're an actor, which I admire greatly, is that I don't see you being you everywhere.
Oh, I don't think I'm me anywhere. I hope not. I'm really trying to be somebody else every time. I work really hard at that, in breaking up my own rhythms, and try to pick up the rhythm of with the writing. I really work hard on that. I mean, that's why, some people don't even know I'm in Napoleon Dynamite because,
God, have you still got those pants?
Everybody else,
fuck
my one regret in show business is that
you didn't keep the pants
there. Yeah.
They're the greatest fucking pants I've ever seen.
I picked them out of a lineup. Jerusha, who was also the co-writer, but was the wife of Jared, the director, was also the costume director.
Right,
that's how small this
crew was. It was a pretty low budget movie.
Right. She showed me 3 different pairs of pants, and I was like, "No, that
the Stars and Stripes pants. They are amazing." So, but is that a thing that you do when it comes to like publicity? Because you're happy to sit here. This is you. I know you.
I know. I'm really.
I haven't seen you do a ton of like you did my talk show, but I haven't seen you do a ton of them. Do you do it on purpose, or you
not so into? It's strange to say this as an actor, but I'm not so into talking about myself. I'd much rather talk about a specific project. And if I do that, then Twitter has kind of changed this. Like, I feel like
you're quite present on that. Yeah, I've seen that.
And I'm also, it is a side of me. It's the funnier side, the kind of goofier side.
Right.
But sometimes I open up about other things that I'm actually feeling. But most of the time I try to be light and airy. I try to be a positive force.
Right.
And in Twitter, that's particularly difficult because it's a dark place.
It is a dark place. It used to be. It was funny. I was talking to Josh Robert Thompson recently about who's the guy who did the robot on the late night show, who's a fucking genius.
Yeah.
And we were talking about how early on Twitter was kind of great. It was fun.
Yeah,
it was light, and it went very dark. And I think probably it was the politics of 2016 and that kind of
I think it predated that a little bit. But I think, as you were alluding to earlier, it's the ratio. So you get a lot of responses from being negative, and so
that's
people
true,
tend to be more negative. I think just to get the attention. they equate negative attention and positive attention in the same
As
way.
being the same way. Yeah,
It's fascinating.
I don't do that.
No, it's so strange.
Negative attention is deeply stressful.
Well,
for
because
me.
we're performers, right?
Right.
So there's a part of us that wants the audience to laugh. We want that love, right? That's part of our
that's your
real
livelihood.
addiction.
If they don't like you, then you're out of business.
Exactly. And it's also like if we were to stand on stage and people were to literally boo and we got the same like feeling out of that, that would be strange.
That would be bad.
odd.
Boo, thank you so much. Oh, bless you all for coming. Boo, boo, hang him, throw cabbages.
Yeah, exactly.
Louis, obviously this is, if it was a visual medium, I would have thrown a cabbage there.
Yes, of course.
So I had to say throw cabbages.
Yes, of course.
What about directing?
Oh, sometimes I think about it, but other times I'm just so satisfied with what I do.
Yeah, I think I'd like you to think about it more, though.
Really?
Yeah, because you have a very good personality for it.
Oh.
I mean, even talking about it.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, you're positive, right?
Yeah.
And you see things, and you do things like text analysis, which I think a lot of fucking directors could do well doing that.
Yeah.
But I think also you have this thing. I'm going to do a massive name drop right now.
Fantastic.
All right. So I was directing this movie.
Yeah.
And I did a very bad job on it.
Okay.
But I was talking to Warren Beatty before. I had lunch with Warren Beatty.
Boom.
Yeah, there he goes. And I had lunch with Warren Beatty because somebody had set us up on a lunch so he could help me. Because I was in the movie and I was directing the movie. And so I said, I need to talk to guys.
He's supposed to be astonishingly bright.
He's amazing, a clever man.
That's what I've heard.
Hits on every waitress that serves him.
But, of course.
Unbelievable. It's fucking ridiculous.
It's like Gene Simmons.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
And that's the only time Gene Simmons and Warren Beatty have been reproved.
I don't think he even knows he's doing it. He's like, you look fabulous. This is the greatest omelet I've ever seen. I was like, oh, for God's sake. But
shameless.
Yeah, unbelievable. I'm like, I don't even know
it's
if he's
unconscious.
I don't even know. Yeah. I don't think he is hitting on these people. I think he's just so kind of.
He just is. He's Warren
charmingly. Anyway, whatever it is. But he was talking about directing. I said, what's the number one thing? He said, don't try and impress anyone. The less you say, the more they're going to be impressed.
That's interesting.
He said, because everybody turns up on the movie set and they've all got a call sheet. And on that call sheet is written bold type right at the top, director, and then your name. So they're already impressed. All that's going to happen is you're going to disappoint
everyone.
Yeah. You're going to be like, oh. And I think that I wouldn't have said this about you when we were doing the Drew Carey Show.
No, I was out of control then.
You weren't out of control. You were younger.
Yeah.
And you were a nice guy. And I don't want to hold with any idea that there was anything wrong. There was nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
But you clearly are a human being who's made a transition, who grew up.
Yeah.
And I think that you have stories to tell. And even when you told the story of you as a little kid in Paris, that's fine, better visual. You think about it.
Thank you. I will.
All right, good.
I will.
So when you're making your movie, I would like to be angry Parisian. I don't want this kid in my movie theater. I think it'd be fun. I think I could do it. I could grow a mustache or not, depending on what you want. Yeah. So, but just acting, then you don't see it as a. Well, that's the wrong thing. I don't mean just acting. You.
Oh, I know what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah. No. I mean, I find my job very complex, and it never gets easy in a way where I kind of stop thinking about it. I find every day interesting, and I'm on this new show called Lucky Hank, and
with Bob, right?
With Bob
Odenkirk,
right. And an incredible cast,
right?
And we did one episode 5, where we were all together. It's a bottle episode for those people that aren't in show business. It's basically when the show, the studio tells you that we have no more money. And so they do an episode where everybody's caught together.
Right, the snowed in episode.
The snowed in episode or something. Right. You'll see it on TV shows all the time. In show business, they're called bottle episodes. That's just the short thing. So the writers of Lucky Hank, who were exceptionally good, had all of these characters out in the show in the first 4 episodes. And they were kind of like just a lot of strings. And you didn't know if Hank was the thing that pulled it together or why they were necessarily connected. And in this one episode, they just pull the string. and they realize that it's been there the entire time, and it pulls everyone together with them. And there's a scene where it's 12 pages at a table. And
that's a long time.
Very long time.
Is it like 25 minutes?
Yeah. And so we're just sitting there talking, and it reinvigorated my sense of my profession and the beauty of it in one day. It was so beautiful to see all these actors interact and create something new every single take, to push each other, but also push the reality of what we're making get deeper and deeper every take. And one of the things that drives me completely bonkers about those that don't take our mutual profession seriously is when they're off camera and they stop acting. It drives me completely bonkers. Like, I would prefer you not to be there, and I can act to tape. And I have asked for this before.
Right.
Because actors will just like, they're just going their line or whatever. Or
you mean so the camera's on someone else, right.
Camera's on the other actor.
Right.
They're sitting off camera. And for looks, basically, so that your look looks like. But they're not acting. Yeah. And they barely know their lines, or they don't know their lines, and they're just reading it. It's so distracting to me.
Yeah.
That I would prefer to have a piece of tape and have the script supervisor read, and I will
look at a piece,
like it's
or a tennis ball or something like that. Yeah,
that it's like you're the best actor ever. I will make you look good, honest to God, but don't be here right now because you're not doing it.
Right.
And this ensemble with Bob as the lead, every single take was great, even when it was coverage of just one person had two cameras on them and it was their close-up. And there are 10 actors in the scene. Everybody acted their heart out. Bob was crying off camera.
Yeah, that's just a waste of resources.
No, he had already done his close-up, but somehow he tapped into something and he just kept going. He just kept tapping into it.
Right.
And he was just 100% there, and everyone was right there. It felt magical.
I think but that's part of the attraction, like at the very beginning for a lot of people.
That's right.
I think is the collegiate band of brothers feel.
That's right.
Of what it's like to be in an ensemble cast. And
that's exactly right.
When you and I were talking, going back to those early days of the Drew Carey Show, that second season, third, fourth season, around about that period, maybe the episode 25 to episode of 100, there was a time when I think we were in that space.
I completely agree with that.
And that
I think
we
lost it probably about mid-fifth season, and then we were just doing a job. But for those, it's like the rock and roll movies when they the band gets together,
right.
Then they have their peak hits and they're really great, right. And then they just keep playing. And
and they keep playing,
and they keep playing, and they keep playing, and then the inevitable happens.
The drummer dies.
Yeah, and the drummer dies. The drummer's always going to die. But when it's good, it's really beautiful. And you're like, oh, this is rock and roll. This is really good.
Yeah.
Like if one person is off, the band is off.
Right.
But when they're all together,
it all clicks.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And I think that's kind of odd, even as a viewer, when you watch shows.
Yeah.
You can see, like, there are shows that just come out of the gate and they're amazing. Yeah. And then, season 10.
Yeah.
And you're like, really, when they introduced, what is it, The Simpsons did, the dog with sunglasses on a skateboard.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, right,
here we go.
Yeah. But I think that there is a kind of lie. Carrie Fisher used to say this, and I think it was a brilliant thing to say, amongst many brilliant things that Carrie said.
She was smart.
She was wonderful. Did you know her?
I knew her a little bit,
Yeah, she was very kind to me.
Yeah.
When the late night show started, I had just written a book, and she read it, and she...
American on Purpose?
No, before that. It was a novel I wrote called Between the Bridge and the River, and it was a kind of magical realist thing, and it was like, it's never going to make any money or anything like that, but I really wanted to write it.
Yeah, cool.
And she read it, and she was very positive about it, and really kind of introduced me in a way to Hollywood that I hadn't been before. She was just amazingly supportive.
Wow.
And she did that for tons of people.
That's so cool.
Like, she had this kind of like artist colony at her house, and you would go up and you'd meet like, I met the weirdest people. I'm like about Courtney Love up there and all that.
That's fun.
Like, you meet like, not that Courtney Love, well, she is a little weird. I think I would say that if she was here.
I don't
but
think that's a big surprise.
No, it's not. Nobody's surprised.
Wait, what?
But But I just met a wild array of different people.
Yeah, cool.
And lovely. But she said, when I put on that metal bikini when I was 24, I didn't realize I was making a pact with the universe to look like that for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's a moment in time. Why can't you let it be that?
Yeah.
And I think that with a sitcom, when it all comes together, or a movie that all comes together, that's why, when people talk about AI, I'm like, it doesn't frighten me. Because it's still there's too much A for the I to matter. You know what I fucking mean? It's like, why is it,
puppet shows have been around a very long time.
Yeah. I think that, this is going to be funny because the robot says it's funny.
Yeah.
Good fucking luck, robot.
Whitney Ballier says that jazz is the sound of surprise. And
that's fucking great.
I would say the comedy is that.
And Robin Williams used to say that good comedy was jazz.
No, there we go.
And we come full circle.
That was good.
Diedrich, you're a joy. It is beautiful to talk to you, man.
Yeah, it was really fun.
More power to you. I'm really looking forward to seeing Lucky Hank as well.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
All right.